Alrighty, first time on YouTube. Wow, this is weird. Today I'm going to be painting day 3 of creation from the book of Genesis, while giving some reasons for my interpretation and what I think it was actually like on that day. Day 3 of creation covers verse 9 to 13 of Genesis 1. If you haven't seen my previous videos where I covered day 1 and 2, you can check them out on my channel. They're still there. So, verse 9 reads,
And God said, Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and the herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day.
I know many people who believe that this one day wasn't just one day, and it was maybe an age or 1,000 years, but I don't think there's anything wrong with having your own beliefs, but there's definitely something wrong when you try to shove those beliefs into scripture. So in verse 9 and 10, we read that God is forming the earth out of water. And these are the waters that were present from the very beginning. Interesting, hey? That the earth was made in water first, and then dry land appears on top. Point is, no one knows how earth has so much water. No one has an explanation for it. But here in Genesis you see that God says he formed the earth out of the waters of the deep, which is quite cool. You'll also see that God creates grass, herbs, and trees. Oh, and they have their fruit and their seeds and everything ready to go from the beginning. So that's evidence of spontaneous generation right there. So let me start by saying that this was one of the hardest things I've had to paint in VR. It wasn't so much designing the painting or physically doing it, but what was hard about it is when you paint on sphere guides in these programs, it has a tendency to not be completely smooth when you start new strokes, but it's like each time you put down a stroke, it comes on top as a new layer. After a while, I had made something, but it was not looking good. So I scrapped that project and I looked online to see if I can find some better examples of how to use these guides and all that. And I found some new tricks, but most of them didn't work. Eventually, I discovered the unlit hull brush, and by using that, I was able to make this giant sphere inside the sphere guide that more or less looks like a perfect circle or a perfect sphere because you can't see any shadows on it, so it doesn't look gross or anything. So I continued to use that, and afterwards I just made some little swirl patterns because I thought that looked quite cool. And as for the land, this was kind of difficult to do. I used the unlit hull brush at first to try and make shapes of the continents, but yeah, I couldn't really paint on top of them, so I scratched that idea. I even put down thousands of trees, but yeah, everything had to go. So eventually I thought of using the coarse hair brush, which is kind of like, it looks like fur. And I used the right colors and I just painted in where the continent should be. And the coarse hair brush worked pretty well to make it look like grass. And it gives you the illusion of different biomes if you overlay different colors of that brush. As you can see, the continents are still one big continent. I know you've probably heard of Pangea, although I don't completely agree with the layout. the continents were still one big giant supercontinent before the flood of Noah. Next time, we're going to be painting day 4, which is when God finally created the earth, not the earth, we just did the earth. It's when he made the sun, the moon, and the stars. So if you're still watching even after all that, thank you. And if you're not subscribed, consider it. I'd appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this has been Ancient Artisan. That was lame. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that again. Bye.